Welcome to the NBA Profit Show, powered by EV Analytics. I'm John Metler. He is Adam Scherher. And if you haven't noticed, he's gotten rid of the Baltimore Orioles hat, and I think it's about time. They are struggling really bad here, and I guess we're not going to roll with the Orioles hat anymore on this show. We're going Western Conference Finals. The schedule breaks down perfectly for the show. We're Western Conference Finals today, Eastern Conference tomorrow, and then Western Conference on Thursday. Game 1 tonight, Minnesota Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder take care of business against the Denver Nuggets, absolutely blow them out in Game 7 there. I think you could argue these are the two best teams in the West, even though the seeding's not like 1-2. I think at this, how they've been playing the second half of the season, the Timberwolves being healthy, all that. And then you have the Thunder top two defenses as well. Adam, do you have any expectations for the series? Do you lean a certain way for who will win? What do you think about this series?
I mean, I like OKC. Obviously, they're great,
Yeah.
but I am excited for the series. Like, I agree with you. I've kind of seen some people just kind of writing off Minnesota or just, acting like they're not that good. I think this is going to be a really fun series. Like, Minnesota's got good defenders. They have Anthony Edwards. Like, they have a star. Obviously, OKC is ridiculously deep and good and has Shea and all of that. But I kind of feel like Minnesota is getting written off a little bit, not even in the sense that, like, I think they're going to win, but just from, like, an entertainment standpoint and how fun I think this series could be. And I really just attribute it to how much people hate Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert is on the team, so they're not a serious team is how people view this. But I think it's going to be a really fun series.
I think we got two really good matchups. Like, even like the Pacers and Knicks are both upsets, but I think they match up really well to how they play. And then, like you said, Wolves, Thunder, this is elite defenders. And they both kind of go, it's like 8 deep. The Thunder maybe a little bit deeper, but they both have a bench that they utilize with more defenders and stuff. I thought in Game 7, the Nuggets are very top heavy. It's like 5-6 guys. Aaron Gordon has the bad hamstring. Michael Porter Jr. has the bad shoulder. They're already down a couple of guys. When you're looking at like that depth in a Game 7, how they officiate playoff basketball, I felt like the Thunder were just allowed to be so much more physical because they don't even care if they get in foul trouble. It doesn't matter if Alex Caruso's in foul trouble. It doesn't matter if Lou Dort's in foul trouble. You have Case and Wallace as well. And it's like, we can just guard the ball with so much hands, so much like hand checking, as all the physicality in the world. And I feel like that's where the depth, because everyone kind of keeps criticizing the Thunder where it's like, you don't need 10 guys in the NBA Finals. Like, you're really just going to play your top 5. So is their top 5 as good as other teams' top 5s? But I think that's where the depth comes in. It's like, we can foul Jokic. Hartenstein has 3, sure. Bring in homegrown. We'll go small. We'll put Alex Caruso on him. I think that was what really stood out there. I mean, the depth. Do you want to ask me that?
Yeah, well, and the other thing too is like, you don't need 10 guys in the playoffs, but part of the reason people are like, oh, you don't need 10 guys is because nobody plays 10 guys because nobody has 10 NBA rotation players. OKC does. Like Aaron Wiggins, the other Jalen Williams, Case and Wallace, like these guys are legitimate, players on other teams that would be in their top 6, 7, 8. So that's part of it too. Like, you don't need 10, but it doesn't hurt, especially for the reason you're saying. Like you saw with Jalen Williams too last series, just playing 12 minutes, fouling Jokic 5 times, but, just bodying him up for 12 minutes and saving Hartenstein or Holmgren from foul trouble, giving them a break without really losing a ton. It still helps. It's just most teams aren't in a position to have that.
Yeah, I feel like because they've been rumored, Giannis Antetokounmpo, there's going to be some stars available here. I feel like you almost keep those first round picks and you just can keep manipulating like your depth and your roster construction and your salary cap and all that with those first round picks and maintain that depth. Like you can literally, like if there's some good player on a really, really good contract, you can go get them. You can be like, hey, we want 2 first round picks, 3 first round. It doesn't matter, right? We have all these first round picks. I feel like that's kind of the path I kind of hope they stay on. I don't hope they don't bail on like Chet Holmgren or J-Dub had a good Game 7 there. So let's get going. We have 2 picks, Western Conference Finals, Game 1. First one, we have 2 overs in the assist market as well. We're going to bet 365 here, and we're going Chet Holmgren over 1.5 assists plus 160. So once again, that's Chet Holmgren over 1.5 assists plus 160. Adam, you want to break this one down?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think either of these bets today have like a ton of great analysis behind them because you're talking about, 2 low assist guys that were betting over 1.5, but it really just comes down to the price. And for Holmgren, we have him projected to play 31.5 minutes. I think a very reasonable projection there. Projected for about 2 assists. So not like he's projected to go over by a crazy amount or anything like that. Would be very surprising to see him get 3 assists, but it's just really, I think, liking this price at 1.5. He so far in the postseason is only averaging 0.9 assists per game 2.7 potential assists in 30 minutes per game. So his potential assists aren't too far down on a per 48-minute basis from the regular season. I think it's down from like 5 to 4 and change. But he has run pretty bad to basically be converting only 33% of his potential assists. Usually when you have somebody that, only gets a couple potential assists, they're usually very high efficiency opportunities, because it's just, dumping the ball off to somebody at the rim or something like that. So you're not expecting a lot of opportunities. You just need him to convert too. And based on, how many minutes he's likely to play in the probably around 30, 31, like I said, we haven't projected 31 and a half, just projected to go over by enough that this price looks really good.
Yeah, I feel like both these guys, it really just comes down to minutes. It's kind of like you're talking about assist guys at 1.5 plus 160. The whole last series, though, like you were talking about, his conversion rate just hasn't really been there. Like the whole last series, even like I think it was like game 6, 7, he was like 1.5, and then it's like minus 110, then it's minus 1 plus 120, then it's like plus 130 because he's just not hitting. And the whole time I was like, man, I feel like we should take this on Chet Holmgren, just like you're saying, just the price. Like now you're plus 160. You move into a completely different series. You don't really worry about his minutes declining because they have Naz Reid, they have Julius Randle, they have Rudy Gobert. So like the double big lineup of Hartenstein, Holmgren makes sense. It's not like you're going small and all of a sudden you're like, maybe Holmgren, gets faded. I feel like they had weird matchups. So they played 4 times this year. I think Julius Randle played the first one, Chet Holmgren did not, and then Chet Holmgren played the final 3, and Julius Randle I don't think played any of those 3. There's a lot of offsetting like injuries in their regular season matchups. I feel like Chet Holmgren is a tough matchup for the way Julius Randle scores his points. Like that length to shoot over him, all those like kind of like fadeaways, contested shots, like Chet Holmgren can elevate and disturb those shots. So I feel like Chet Holmgren's minutes will 100% be there. I feel like he's primary defender. Julius Randle will cause problems for Julius Randle. And if he's on the floor, 1.5 plus 160 is a crazy number. So
and to your point, like I think the new series is a benefit because we've talked about this a lot, where the first game of a series, like you're learning a lot, right? Like you have your assumptions on how a series is going to go, but you have a lot more information going into game 2 on how teams are going to play, and then even more going into game 3. But for Holmgren, like I said, he's only averaged 30 minutes per game in the postseason. But in that last series, like you had a game where he played 34, you had a game where he played 40. It's not like he's hard capped at 30 or anything like that. There's no reason to think that in the new series, he's going to play like less than 30 minutes per game. If he plays a different amount of minutes than he's played so far this postseason, it's almost guaranteed to be higher than lower. Like when you think about it from a volatility standpoint, I think it's just skewed in a favorable direction.
Well, he's just the perfect defensive matchup for Naz Reid, Julius Randle. Like get out on the perimeter and guard them. That's Chet Holmgren, right? Like you're the big who has length, who can block shots, but you can move your feet on the perimeter. So like that's kind of the advantage those guys have, is they're usually going against like bigger, slower guys. So yeah, we're throwing up the rotations here for Chet Holmgren. So and they kind of went, so game 7 there against the Nuggets, they kind of faded Isaiah Hartenstein, went smaller, went Alex Caruso, and then Chet Holmgren as the help defender there. I just feel like Chet Holmgren's role is, I think Hartenstein and Holmgren's roles are very secure, more secure in this series. But like you said, I think 1.5 plus 160 with those minutes probably going to be higher and stuff. And so that's the first bet. Second bet here, we're going to FanDuel. We're going for another 1.5. We're going Jaden McDaniels. Sorry, this will be 2 plus assists because they just have it. That's where we found this one. So this is at FanDuel. It's 2 plus assists. So it's Jaden McDaniels, 2 plus assists plus 110. Adam, you want to break this one down?
Yeah, it's just more playing time. Like Jaden McDaniels is just the perfect postseason player. Really, really good on-ball defender, wing defender. Very easy for him to play a lot of minutes, regardless of how the game's going. If you go with the big lineups, you just have him at the 3. If you go smaller, he slides to the 4. Like it's just very, very easy for him to stay on the floor. We have him projected for 39 minutes, but you go back and look at these recent games, 41, 40, 42 minutes in his last 3. Like he's live to play 40 plus. So I don't think 39 is like a high projection or anything like that. I think it's, very reasonable. We have him at 2.2 assists. So he just projects well at plus money here. He's, similar to Chet in that you're probably going to get like 3, maybe 4 potential assists. And you just kind of needed to convert at a little bit higher rate than usual, but you're getting plus money for that. And he really should be on the floor for almost the entire game.
I felt like so one of some of those injuries, those 3 games they played, there was no Rudy Gobert. They kind of went smaller, and they did have Jaden, because Julius Randle was out as well. So it was like Jaden McDaniels almost was playing the 5 a bunch for them. And those were the games they actually beat the Thunder. They beat them twice. Jalen Clark was starting. who else? I forget. I think DiVincenzo was also out. They're missing a bunch of guys. But Jay McDaniels coming up as the screener in the pick and roll for Anthony Edwards actually seemed to cause the Thunder more problems than like the very first game I watched. Last night I was up crazy hours with the babies. I watched a bunch of these old games. The guy was not going to sleep. So it was like 2 a.m. to like 6 a.m. I was just like, well, I may as well watch this game. I may as well watch this game. But I felt like the Jay McDaniels minutes and like the role they had him in those like later games in the series caused the problems way more problems for the Thunder. So like when you're talking about minutes, I mean, his minutes are already pretty secure. I just feel like there could be more of an offensive role for him. He had big games against them. He scored a bunch of points. He was 20 plus points a couple times there. So I think the minutes will be high. They need his defense. He's so versatile. He could guard Jalen Williams. He can guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He can guard anyone because he has the length. He can even guard Chet Holmgren. So 1.5 plus 110. He just cashed one for us last series at 1.5. So hopefully he can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, in the postseason, like he's averaging 1.3 assists per game in 36 minutes per game. He's very likely to play more than 36 minutes. You can certainly argue like he's only averaging 2.2 potential assists per game in those 36 minutes. So like, yeah, he's probably not going to convert, over 50% of his potential assists, but also he is somebody that is likely to be efficient because it's not like he's just throwing dimes everywhere and, getting 10 opportunities. Like if he's getting a potential assist, it's again, probably just a wide open guy that is going to convert at a high rate. So it's really just, again, just being on the floor, and this line, I think, just offers some value, even if you just take what he's done on average in the postseason so far.
It's very likely it's 3 potential assists, 2 dimes.
Yep.
That's what.
Both of these guys you're hoping for 2. Like,
yeah, you're hoping for like 3 potential assists, 2 easy, like maybe a putback, kick out, rebound, kick out, offensive rebound or something like that. But it won't be pretty. But hey, I think I've cashed more of these 1.5 assist prop than any bet I've ever given out. So the 2 bets today: Chet Holmgren over 1.5 assists plus 160. Jaden McDaniels over 1.5 assists plus 110. This concludes the NBA Prop Pick Show powered by EV Analytics. We'll be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1. Good luck with your bets. Del, play the song.